Big Match, production number 4680, date recorded 14/1/73, take 1.
On the big match today, an FA Cup tie special. The fury and the punishment as two players are sent off in the Brighton-Chelsea tie. The short-lived day of the giant killer as non-leaguers Chelmsford go out to First Division Ipswich. And all that's best in cup tie football. A marvellously fluctuating match between Manchester City and Stoke. That's all coming your way now. Yes, welcome again, and indeed quite a lineup we've got for you on this Cup weekend. We've practically cleared the decks as well on the programme today to give you a good strong ration of Cup tie action. Well, I missed all that fun yesterday, but at least the flu bug seems to have released me a little bit now, and I'm back in business once more. But what it did mean is that yesterday we had a new commentator for our main match, of course, Jimmy Hill. It's the first time he'd ever done one, so we shall have to listen to that one with a great deal of interest. Jim's job was at the Goldstone Ground at Brighton, and Brighton were the first team out. The first job today is to catch up on the two teams. Brighton are at full strength for this one. The only real doubt was about their goalkeeper Brian Powney, but Brighton were happy to announce that he's fit to take his place in the side for this important cup tie against the First Division side Chelsea. As for Chelsea, they've had a terrible run of injuries this season, but now manager Dave Sexton's happy to say that Bill Garner gets back at number 11 and Steve Kember is at 10. So it is the side that he would have played at Manchester, at Main Road indeed, last week had the match not been postponed. For Brighton's Barry Bridges, a big day against his former club. For 19-year-old Stephen Piper, it's quite a day and quite an ordeal because he'll be marking the chief danger to Brighton. That, of course, is Chelsea's Peter Osgood. And the man sharing the main attacking job with Osgood today is Bill Garner. The crowd, just about 30,000 strong, some of the latecomers still straggling into the ground, and the referee is Peter Reeves of Leicester, now waiting to make a start.
And the referee gets the game underway there. Chelsea kick off, Brighton in the striped shirts, kicking from right to left, but it's Chelsea on the attack. And it gives, oh, brave save there, and Chelsea have scored! Oh no, the referee has disallowed it. The linesman had his flag up there. Referee Peter Reeves there on the spot. He's responding to the linesman's signal there. What a dramatic start to a cup tie. And he's giving a kick on the goal line, I suspect for offside. It looked to me as if there was a little bit of dangerous play there, because when Powney dived on that ball, the forward went right into him and kicked at it, and the ball rebounded and the shot came from that incident. But there it is, it's a free kick now. Brighton rescued, Powney to take it. It's Kemba. Harris on the ball, Osgood jumps. Garner, Tommy Baldwin in there. Good clearance, fine clearance. Brighton are on the attack to the cheers of the crowd. O'Sullivan, clever little dribble, and he's moving down the line. Brilliant dribbling by Summit, and Beamish has a shot! Brilliant first time left foot shot there by Beamish. He took it well on the turn. I know manager Pat Sayward has told his team, every one of you can go forward with the ball, we've nothing to lose. So go out there, force the pace and attack right from the start. Beamish showed that attitude with that first-class shot. Harris. Piper getting his first kick. Foul given there against Gary Locke. Tackle from behind, free kick taken very quickly. And that's George Lay on the near post. Bridges. It's away, and Brighton are putting the pressure on as they promised. Piper. But it's away with Garner on the left wing now, taking up from Chelsea. Inside there to Kemba. It's Hudson into Harris. Diving header away there. And now it's Bromley bursting through the middle of the field. Graham Bromley. And he plays it out there. Barry Bridges on the left wing. And there's Spirit. Spirit's gone in, and a very good save there from John Phillips. A fine header from Bridges' cross. Osgood on the ball now, settling Chelsea a little. Inside to Kemba. Baldwin. Kemba on the ball. Nicely cut out there by Goodwin. And Piper clearing again. Kemba. Webb. Baldwin flicks it inside, but Bromley's picked it up again. Searching ball there. Harris throws up the line to Garner. And a good tackle from Bromley to get the ball away from him. Goodwin coming away with it. Bridges lays it back, but it's a bad pass, and it gives Hudson a chance to slow the game down in the middle there. To Hollins. To Kemba. Gary Locke overlapping on the right. Hollins there, but he doesn't find him. Free kick there to be taken by David Webb. Floating it up there for Garner's head. He wins it, but Piper's a suspicion of handball there, but I think it was on his thigh. Whatever happened, he got it away. There's Kemba through the middle. Oh, and a fine chase there. A fine chase from Goodwin. In fact, Kemba hesitated, thinking he was offside, and it gave Goodwin the chance to get back and catch it. Goodwin. Throw in for Brighton. Sperrit with the throw. And once again, this time a longer one. He's got quite a powerful throw, Sperrit. Dempsey in a little bit of trouble there, eventually puts it into touch. Had quite a layoff with a nasty Achilles tendon injury, Dempsey. Not easy to make a comeback. He's had 2 or 3 games now, just finding his feet. Once again, it's Spirit with that long throw. Howell goes in hard but fails to get it, and it's away to Osgood. First time out to Tommy Baldwin. To Hudson. To Harris. Pushing forward, Harris. Garner on the left wing, but he's tripped over him. He finds him in the end. And a tight ball in there. Free kick again, quite a dangerous position, a threatening position just outside the Chelsea penalty area. Hudson, and Osgood is through there and he scored! He's onside and it's a goal! A beautiful curving free kick. Curving free kick there by Hudson, and Osgood scored it. caught the Brighton defence napping. He timed his run beautifully from an onside position there. Hudson curved the ball, guided it, steered it in his path, and all he had to do was to tuck it in off the end of his toe into the corner of the net. Free kick given against Peter Osgood. Referee having a word with him. I think he's very determined that cup tie or not, the game's going to be kept under strict control. Later kick for Brighton. Well taken by Hudson. Ball seems to... and a late tackle then from Sperrit. No question about it, the ball was played away, and I think the referee is going to take his name. He is. The tackle was positively late. There was no question about it. Hudson had the ball glued to his foot and he flicked it off, and Sperrit came in after the ball was gone. It's a pity because it's by no means a dirty game. It's both managers the best of friends, and I always think that generally results in a good clean game, but that tackle was late. Hudson to Garner. Osgood to Harris, but intercepted there by Littlejohn. Dempsey has it. Hudson on the ball, and Hollins has made the break, and he's given onside, and the ball's checked for him! A very good run, that beautifully timed through the middle by Hollins, there's no question about that, and the ball checked in his path. I thought a lob there would have been just the skill required, but he tried to trickle it along the ground, and in missing Powney he missed the goal. Osgood on the left wing to Hollins. Is he going to try one? Intercepted by Bromley. Garner again showing his skill in controlling the ball out of the air, that time on his thigh. Piper heads away, and Howe completes the clearance. But Chelsea is still pressing on the ball. Osgood on the left wing. Curls the cross in, and there's a diving header there from Steve Kember. Got through beautifully on the near post. A good cross, but just steered it past that right-hand post. Sullivan on the ball. Fine pass to Bromley. To Sperrit. Sullivan again. There's that typical low cross. He seems to put all his crosses in low along the ground. Here's clever dribble by Lane. Another low one. Bromley with the throw. Sullivan sticking to him well, young Locke there, but at the expense of a corner. In fact, Bromley's going to take this one because Sullivan's corners have been a little bit weak. This is a high one. Beautifully taken there at the second attempt, but the referee right on the spot. I thought for a moment he was going to give a foul for dangerous play, but it was brave goalkeeping by Phillips. He dropped the first catch and then made it up on the floor. Garner again wins it. Piper away. Beamish. Sperrit. Hudson. Long one across, but well intercepted by Piper. Not perfect control, but he got himself out of it. Bridges beats Webb to the ball. Now John Hollins, and there goes the whistle for half-time. A pretty good half of a cup tie. One could hardly call it a classic, but on the other hand, there's been a lot of entertaining football played not ruggedly, but with great determination by both sides. Brighton 1 goal down. Chelsea caught them napping with a free kick. So many goals these days scored from set pieces. And this particular one, a curving cross from Hudson, left Osgood an open goal from 5 yards. They let him slip through. There's Peter Osgood, the scorer. 1-0 at half-time. Brighton struggling in the first half, shall we say, but everything to play for now in the second half. Come back and join us there. So Brighton pick it up in the second half. I'm quite sure they won't get too disappointed with being 1 goal down. Manager Pat Sayward, no doubt, has picked up their spirits in the dressing room, and they'll come out fighting. Bromley on the ball. To Sullivan. Tight bit of play there, the sort of thing you see so much in modern football that wouldn't have happened a few years back. Working the ball out of tight spaces. And Hudson trying to use skill to defend and giving away a throw-in. And across there to Beamish. It's Spirit! Oh, and a fine save! A beautiful move there. Beamish placed his header in front of Sperrit so well, and Sperrit jumped and got all the power he could in it. But a fine save there from John Phillips. And now it's Kemba to Baldwin. Headed well away by Piper there. Goes after it again to complete the clearance. Good cross by Baldwin, and Osgood goes in! And it's a fine goal! Aussie's second goal! A lovely curling cross by Tommy Baldwin there. And Peter Osgood went flying in and met it first time, almost from the same distance away from goal as he got the first one. Brian Powney had no chance whatsoever. The Brighton defence caught through the middle, and Osgood finally finishing it off. And as Brighton kick off, we note that Peter Osgood scored that goal 16 minutes after half-time. The first one was scored 16 minutes after the kick-off. But that's put Brighton really in trouble now. A 2-0 lead at this stage of the game means they've got a lot of ground to make up. But it's Spirit with a long throw. Hard luck Beamish with that back header. Hudson now on the ball. To Osgood. Beautiful pass to Baldwin. Blocks through. A high cross. Kemba's the one who goes to it, but not a very fine header on the end of it. There's little Sullivan, still working away, and Spirit. Bad ball back from Beamish there, has left them stranded. And it's Osgood. Hudson and Kemba. When Chelsea are playing sweetly, it's these three that are behind most of the moves. Garner gets it on the wing. He's going to hit it, and a cracking shot there. Downey Oh, Brian Powney got down at the last moment there to that one. I think he was a little bit unsighted, but in the end he brought off a fine save. There's Bill Garner showing that he can play with his feet too. Templeman to Salaga. Switch to the right wing now in an effort to maybe get his younger legs past Harris's older ones. Whoops, and there was a trip. Keep calm, says the referee. Good advice, and they've taken it. And it's Bromley, worked hard throughout. There's an incident gone on in the goal mouth. Nobody knows what it was. I didn't have my eye on it. I was watching Bromley take the kick. But Sperrit went down. And it's my guess is that he would have been punched. The referee appears to be dealing with the situation. Sperrit is holding his face and the referee has Harris and he's talking to him and he's taking his name. There he is on the far side there with the photographers and he's sent him off the field. He's sent him off the field. Obviously the referee saw a punch and one can't question that his action was right. What a stupid thing for Ron Harris to do. Looking the coolest man on the field, having had a fine game, Chelsea winning 2-0, and he has to commit that action. We didn't see it, I haven't seen it myself, but I have no doubt the way that Sperrit fell to the ground and the way that referee Peter Reeves has dealt with the situation, that he saw it very clearly indeed. But what a silly thing to do. Baldwin. Kemba again. Little tussle. Young Piper. Kicked up in the air by Kemba. Young Piper. And the Brighton players are going round him, and I don't wonder because Piper went in well for that ball. A good interception. And Kemba snapped at his heels and bit. And I think he's going to have his name taken. Once again, I wouldn't query that decision. Piper's fit again, and away we go. Little lob ball there. Goodwin got underneath it. Osgood to Garner and he's away. He's going to catch it before the line. And more beautiful goal there. He's given Baldwin offside. It looked a lovely run. But I've no doubt the linesman was right. It was taken so beautifully, it almost seems a pity that it wasn't allowed. Off the outside of the foot, low cross by Garner, and Baldwin sliced it into the goal off the outside of his right foot. He's had a fine game, Baldwin, today, been very dangerous with his runs. And he's still on the wing again. Tackle from behind by Lay. There's violence coming into it now. Fighting going on. Quite ridiculously. They're going through the motions of fighting. Nobody's really throwing a punch, but it looks so bad and it is so disgraceful. He's calling Osgood to him. There's Osgood there. I think that's George Lay with him. George Lay, the two of them are going over to the touchline. And it seems so senseless. why Chelsea should allow themselves to get mixed up in this. There should be no frustration on their part with a lead of 2 goals with just about 7 minutes left to play, and he sent him off, and he sent George Lay off, so there's 10 men left on each side. He was the first one really to lose his head. He went rushing back there with a punch, and Peter Osgood, it looks as if he's getting his name taken. Osgood is staying on because his was retaliation, and the game is restarted with a free kick to Chelsea taken by Tommy Baldwin. Garner gets his head to it there, and it's just wide. Dave Sexton once more probably wondering how the game suddenly went sour on Chelsea. It looks now as if they'll be through to the next round, but with Harris sent off, it must take some of the pleasure at least out of a win. Bromley on it again, punts it through there. Bridges heads back, and Locke puts into touch. Howell on the ball. Kemba wins it. Garner to Osgood, coming from deep, and he's going on his own. Referee allowed to play to go on. And David Webb, I think, is going to have his name taken too. No, he's forgiven him, or has he? No, I think his name's in that book. Yet another one. There can't be much room left. And there you can see the crowd. I'm afraid not all of the violence that's going on is going on the field, because the crowd has spilled over the touchline there. The police are having trouble to control them. They're kids, not causing any harm at the moment, but they should be back behind that barrier. And now it's Chelsea on the attack. Baldwin, and a brilliant shot there, so well saved. A lovely shot by Alan Hudson, dying for his first goal of the season, but a fine save from Brian Powney. And here we go now, Templeman on the ball, Brighton's last throw. Spirit to Bridges. My goodness, these Brighton players have fought this afternoon. Too hard maybe in some respects, but that's a bad mistake, and it's let forward in. Oh, and a very bad foul there from Howell. He realised as soon as he did it that he should not have done it, and the referee almost has no alternative but to put his name in the book. He was sorry as soon as he let his foot fly, but unquestionably it was a late and a violent tackle. And there's the final whistle to an extraordinary game, a game that for so long looked sporting, pleasant, Chelsea having the edge, the difference between the teams. Peter Osgood, the man who you've just seen get enveloped, rush into that tunnel before the crowd can swarm round it. And there are the scenes at Golston Road this afternoon. Sperrit, the man who had his name, Templeman there going through. Jubilant Chelsea supporters on the pitch. The sound of a fire engine in the background, and the final score here, Chelsea 2, Brighton 0.
I don't know what the fire engine was doing about it, but apparently it was a cup tie that did little for the game of football, quite the reverse in fact. This morning's newspapers indignantly have gone to town on it. The Brighton brawl. Cup brawl disgraces soccer. Harris bust up. And indeed, in the Sunday Express, Danny Blanchflower described it as disgraceful as any match I've ever seen. So what's the considered view now of our commentator, who now turns to his analysis, Jimmy Hill?
I wouldn't describe it as disgraceful as much as I would describe it as stupid, because for 70 minutes of this game it was played in a very sporting spirit, excellently refereed, and nothing to write home about at all. And then all of a sudden the players seemed to lose their heads. Maybe one could excuse Brighton, certainly not excuse them, but maybe understand, but not Chelsea. Apart from the moral issues involved, it was so unprofessional of them, 2-0 up, into the next round of the Cup at that stage of the game, suddenly to lose their heads in the way that they did. I must confess I didn't see the incident which started all off between Ron Harris and Eddie Spirit, neither did the cameras, but there was no doubt about the referee being on the spot, and he saw enough to send Harris off the field. Harris is complaining, and the silly thing about Ronnie Harris yesterday was he had such a superb game and was so cool up until that point. He's now complaining that Spirit acted, and that's what got him sent off, but he must have done enough for the referee to feel that he should send him off the field, and so what happened after that was his own fault. But let's look now at the other incidents in that game, those that we did record, those that the cameras saw, and judge for ourselves what really it was all about. The first one involved Spirit. It was a late tackle. He came in after the ball was laid off. You see it now, Hudson on the ball there, flicking it away, and you can see Spirit coming in from the back there, that foot just on the back of Hudson's heel. And that's the kind of thing that happens so often. The referee saw the tackle from behind, and he came over, blew his whistle, and took his name. And now we see the revenge motive. Stevie Kember kicked there from the behind by Steve Piper. Now watch how he decides to get his revenge. And there's probably the most frightening tackle that we shall see in the course of that game. Kember getting his revenge, taking the law into his own hands, kicks Piper to the ground in that way. Maybe there was provocation, but he had his name taken anyway. Now look closely now as this ball's laid up the left wing and see the offence for which David Webb was sent off. There he is, straight into Spirit, getting his particular bit of revenge there and bringing him down. And lastly, Graham Howe, just at the end of the game, there was hardly a second to go, committed this foul on Baldwin. Tommy Baldwin's away with the ball, and he just chops him down, and quite rightly had his name taken. There were people afterwards that were saying the referee didn't have a good game. I don't see what any referee in the world can do when players behave in that way, except administer the kind of discipline that he did to them. What about the sending off? That was of George Lay. I have to confess too that that took place right over on the far side of the ground. The lights at Brighton not all that good at the moment. They haven't that much money to spend on players, let alone getting the lights a bit better. And it was misty, and it was near the end of the game. It doesn't show up that clearly, but let's look at the scuffle, the way in which Osgood got his name taken, the way in which George Lay decided to have what they now term the early bath. Tommy Baldwin was involved in this. He goes up the line after that ball. He was playing in such determined fashion all the game, but that's a good tackle there from Lay. He too played coolly throughout the game, and one of the last players I would have expected to have lost his head. But now you can see how the whole thing is coming about. At that moment, Lay appeared to punch Osgood. Tommy Baldwin lost his head completely because obviously he saw it. But also the silly thing about it is they seem to want to show the worst side of themselves. Lay is having his name taken before he is ordered off the pitch, and Osgood, nonchalantly looking on there, had his name taken but was allowed to play on. And that really, for me, was the silly thing about it. So much about so little. They appear to want to show the worst sides of themselves. No damage was done. I looked at players afterwards and couldn't find a bruise anywhere, but it looked like a real boxing match. If it went on a rugby field, I don't suppose anybody would worry about it these days, but on a soccer field it gets headlines like disgrace and all the kinds of things that really are bad for football. I think the players on both sides really who were involved in those incidents should be ashamed of themselves. Now what about the good side of the game? Two beautiful goals from Chelsea, from Peter Osgood. He'd only scored one goal in the last 8 games, and a goal scorer such as he has got to come good sometime. This was a free kick from Hudson, and he brilliantly stole in there. He looks a mile offside on that picture, but it really is a tribute to the timing of that run. He started behind the defence and timed it beautifully. The second one was a result of Tommy Baldwin. Good game yesterday from Tommy Baldwin. He's tried a right foot cross there which hasn't come off, and just look, as it comes out to him again, the way in which he cleverly steers that ball across with his left foot. And Osgood's brilliance in getting on the end of it first time and slamming it in the net. About the who deserved to win the game, I think there was no doubt that Chelsea deserved to win that tie. They had a little bit more class, and of course, once they got the goal that they needed, they were always really coasting home from that moment. But all credit to Brighton. I will say, even in the last minute of the match, facing a hopeless task, they continued to come forward, which should be encouraging for them in the relegation battle which they fight in the weeks to come.
Jim, very briefly though, having got those few strong points off your chest, what about the commentary bit? Did you enjoy that as well?
Yes, I did enjoy the commentary bit, Brian. Yes, and of course, I've got to confess, it's a doddle. I don't know why he gets his money every week.
What were the problems, really? Thank you for that.
The problems, really, and seriously, were the identification of the Brighton players. They have those numbers on their backs mixed up with the stripes, and it made it extremely difficult, really, to tell one player from the other. In fact, I did all the homework I could. On the Friday night, I talked to Pat Sayward on the phone. I got all the players' numbers for him and learned them. But on the other hand, when I got to the ground on Saturday morning, he said to me, "I'm afraid I've had to change 2 of the numbers of the players." And I said, "You can't do that, Pat. Honestly, please, I've got them all in my head." He said, "Well, I've had to do it." I said, "There's no reason why you have to do it. Why do you have to change anybody's numbers?" He said, "Because Goodwin, who's 14 stone, can't get the number 5 shorts on. So so he's got to play in number 6.
But I mean, did you enjoy it, Jim?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but one thing I did learn, and it's a tribute to all commentators, that it's far more difficult than being a linesman.
Oh, well, maybe I'm still in a job next week, we shall see. Our second cup tie today, though, is also one of the greatest days in the history of Chelmsford Football Club. The Southern League hopefuls were at home yesterday to First Division Ipswich. 15,000 fans crammed into their ground in the hope of being in on just a little bit of history. Anglia's cameras were there as well. Commentator Jerry Harrison. Chelmsford are in the white shirts.
But no trouble for Loughton, back to goalkeeper Taylor. He's come out of the penalty area. Johnson's harassment there, forcing goalkeeper Laurie Taylor out, and a free kick for handball. It's Alan Hunt who's come up over the far side. We've got Wymark and Johnson there too, and of course number 4 Peter Morris can do all sorts of things. And now here is Harper. Oh, what a great goal! A tremendous shot from Harper, and his first goal of the season. So the free kick placed there with Ben queuing up over the far side. Peter Morris looked as if he was going to chip it over, but the short one to Harper, and a tremendous drive. Harper, Johnson, neat control, and Morris running wide but not wide enough, and Coakley an error, giving Ipswich their 4th corner of the game. So he takes up his position on the near post. Chelmsford could be a little bit short of height in 1 or 2 vital positions, although Delay and Loughton are playing so well. Penalties up there on the line. Peter Morris with a kick. Out goes Taylor. Just touches it away. Taylor again, but Johnson gets it. And Johnson with the flick. A partly cleared corner. Hunter gets it back, and Johnson with a flick. Flicked on by Wymark, and Johnson fouled by Loughton. As we go to black and white, it's still very clear-cut as far as the game is concerned. Ipswich are well on top, leading by the 2 goals. Peter Morris on the right is Dave Johnson, on the left is Mick Mills. Chip up to Wymark, but it's a penalty, playing in the number 6 shirt of Beattie, and indeed filling the Beattie role in these set pieces. Penalty still chasing. And Lambert. Walcott, but it's Mills with quite a bit of space. Wymark. No, it's Brian Hamilton. Beautifully taken. And that was beautifully set up. Brian Hamilton showing a lot of poise on that one. Mick Mills with a long one forward, beautifully laid off by Warmark to Brian Hamilton, and now that surely is the final nail in the Chelmsford coffin. 3-0. Coakley has come back well. Woolcott, Brian Hamilton, and he of course was once a part-timer, and the improvement he's made since he came from Northern Ireland indicates just how important it is for these First Division players to be training all the time. Best misses it. It's a goal! Woolcott given the goal for Chelmsford. Best coming out for it. Roy Woolcott on the nick of full time, giving Chelmsford City a consolation and something for their supporters to cheer about.
So that's how it is that Ipswich go into the fourth round draw tomorrow, a team to avoid, I would think. A couple of things now before we move on to that classic match between Manchester City and Stoke. First, a letter that came indeed a few weeks back from Malcolm Randall of Camberley, and he wondered when I did my first football television commentary, and I suppose on a weekend when Jimmy had his first go, it may be an opportune moment to answer that one. Well, Malcolm, it was in August 1968, and it was a First Division game between Queen's Park Rangers and Manchester City.
Keane is up there as well. It goes to Keane, it goes to Bridges, a goal! A goal! Francis Lee. Neil Young, a neat little bit of play there, through to Oakes. A shot there, oh, great save by Kelly. Good boy. I wonder if Manchester City are wondering at this moment, how on earth do we beat this boy Kelly? Perhaps there's another chance coming up with this corner. Doyle's trying his luck, and it's there! They have beaten him.
Well, that seems an awful long time ago now. But the other point I want to raise today is about the Reading-Doncaster postponed tie. Reading have been on the phone to us today to point out that at least one paper has got that match down for tomorrow night. In fact, Reading v Doncaster is on Wednesday night. Now, we had planned, and indeed had publicised, to bring you Wolves against Manchester United, but I'm sure you realise that was just a single-goal victory for the Wolves, and I hope you don't mind that we switched to the tie that was probably the best of the round. It's Manchester City against Stoke at Main Road, where the pictures come from Granada. Commentator Gerald Sinstadt and Manchester City are in the plain shirts. Coming up now.
Mr. Ted Wallace from Crewe, the referee, a check with his linesman, a check with his watch, and away we go. Stoke kicking off in the striped shirts. This is goalkeeper John Marsh. This is in fact the fourth time these teams have met in the FA Cup. Manchester City have won twice and Stoke once, but that's been balanced by a victory over two legs in the League Cup semi-final. Summerby. Easton playing it out left for Greenough to chase vainly. Tony Book for Summerby. Bell and Jeffries. Tommy Booth, that was a bit casual, but it's all right. Now Booth being harassed by Eastham. Bell, Lee wanting one through between the backs, but Dennis Smith there, and losing it to Lee at the expense of a goal kick or a corner. A corner. Francis Lee back in the side for the first time for a month. 3-match suspension and then last week's game postponed. Summerby's corner driven low to Bell's head and in off a defender. Colin Bell's header, but it was certainly deflected by a defender. Just watch again, it's a beautifully driven corner by Summerby. Low, lovely trajectory. Bell's header, and it went in, I think, off Skeels. 1 minute and 25 seconds, and Manchester City strike hard and early. Difficult to say whether that will be credited to Bell. It was certainly a very fine header, and Manchester City will be well pleased with it, but Stoke must wonder whether somebody should have been marking him. That was a good shot from Robertson. Lee. Lovely bit of work by Lee. Dangerous this. Mellor's cross now. And Robertson has lost it to Marsh. They just cannot push City back for the moment. Here's Marsh! Blocked well by Smith. With some fine footwork by Marsh to set up the chance. Ritchie. Eastham and Book. A chase. Somerby against Smith. Taking it away from Marsh, who had a go at his shirt. Here's Rodney Marsh. Good goal! Happy Rodney, and very happy Manchester City. Ball played through there for Marsh to clip back up just inside the far post. Well taken goal from a difficult angle as he was running away. His 15th goal of the season. Donachie. Mahoney to John Marsh. Donachie. Lee. Mellor. Now he's got room to motor and steady himself for the cross, but Smith half blocked it and Skeels, I think, put it out for the corner. No, it's been ruled as a throw-in. Lee's cross. And the whistle has gone for a foul by Marsh. Skeels to Eastham. Chance here for Ritchie. Holding off Jeffries and hitting the post. Greenoff! Yes, he's got it. So just coming up 24 minutes and Stoke get one back as Ritchie galloped through a great big gap in the middle there. The ball played through by Eastham and the cover just wasn't there for Manchester City. Jeffries pushed it nothing. The ball hit the post from Ritchie and Greenoff came through to make it 2-1. It's Jimmy Greenoff's 10th goal of the season. We've not yet been playing 25 minutes. Robertson tried to get it over the goalkeeper's head. Ritchie against the post. Twice in this game now Ritchie has hit the post. A little bit less than 10 minutes to go to half-time, with Manchester City leading 2-1 in a game that's had a lot of positive qualities. John Marsh. Good header by Jeffries. Robertson's throw to Eastham. Back to Marsh. He's lost it to Mellor. Rodney Marsh and Lee breaking with him, and it's 3 against 3. Squared for Rodney Marsh. Francis Lee is free. 3-1. No! They played so well there. They all kept their heads. And Lee hit the underside of the crossbar. They're suggesting that it came off the stanchion. I think it was the crossbar. Booth's header. Eastham, a good ball to Robertson. And he's now going to try and run Donachie. Yes, he did well, but Jeffries was covering. Mahoney. Pejic. Conroy. Doyle putting it out for a corner. Some good play then by Stoke. extending City, but City's covering defence was good. Terry Conroy will take this corner for Stoke. Ritchie coming to the near post, and in goes Greenoff! Nine minutes of the second half, and Stoke have completed their recovery from 2-0 down to 2-2. A well-taken corner by Conroy, a dummy run by Greenoff, and by Ritchie rather, and Greenoff going in behind him, hit the ball first time to make it 2-2. Box throw into Lee. Skeels, Booth for Bell, down for Lee. Beauty! Oh, the woodwork again! That's twice Lee's hit it. Marsh's cross. Bell is there. Goalkeeper's fingertips, and off Lee into the goalkeeper's arms. Got away by Smith again. Robertson. Greenoff has gone to the right. Conroy is out on the left. Greenoff now. Bell. John Marsh for Stoke. Robertson's header on, and it's a good one for Greenoff. Ritchie is in the middle. Booth. Bell to Donaghy. Lee, a lovely touch. Bell. Marsh calling for one out on the right. Bell couldn't set himself to play it, but he's found Mellor. Ricochet to Summerby, and a deflection in! I think it went off Smith. Here's Mellor, and he tries to turn it inside. It comes off a player's back to Summerby, and Summerby's shot goes over the goalkeeper, and that's 3-2.
Well, there we are. That's a great cup tie in which to end quite a week. What with Jimmy doing his commentary and me getting a dose of the flu. We've had some nice things written about the big match, both in the Evening Standard and the Guardian this week. That was good as well. And, of course, the prospect of looking forward to meeting you all again next weekend. Let's leave you today, though, with two men in the news at Brighton yesterday. Peter Osgood scoring here, and referee Peter Reeves, who did a difficult job well.
And it's a fine goal! Aussie's second goal!